Good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Happiness is Real morning show. I'm thrilled to be here with you, connecting with you wherever you are on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. My name is Camilla Calberg. I'm the host of Happiness is Real morning show. I'm the founder and transformational coach, founder of Calberg Coaching. This episode is brought to you by Calberg Coaching, where we help executives thrive before, during, and after divorce and create a better life on the other side of divorce. To learn more about me and my journey and how to book a discovery conversation, go to www.calbergcoaching.com. And with this, let's go into today's episode. And I am so happy once again to talk about inner peace. I got a lot of comments, questions about affirmations. I've been talking about affirmations and self love and being worthy over the last couple of days. And I realize, because I'm so into that, I'm so into the coaching of it, that if you haven't experienced, having experienced affirmation, having practiced that, if you haven't healed, I've talked about healing your trauma, having like you can put the icing on the cake. If you haven't, if your foundations is vulnerable, then how on earth can you then do affirmations? And so it showed up that that is one important step I want to talk about today, and the importance of it in order to find inner peace. And so also to use the affirmations, that is all about pulling the future to the now and setting you up for success. Like yesterday I talked about you create your destiny. You are the captain of your ship, and you decide where it's to go. Do you go uphill? Do you go downhill? I had a client conversation yesterday. We spent a lot of time going uphill, going downhill. It's like going downhill. When you bike downhill, it gives you butterflies in the stomach and you are excited. But when it's uphill, when it's heavy, then you get into those emotions and you entertain those emotions that doesn't or don't give the result that you really want. So my purpose of today, and really my vision of today, is our intention is to help you with one tool that can, or one step that can lead you to a faster way into the inner peace. And let me start by saying, whatever you experience right now, and it may be like it made your life transition. Life transitions comes with emotional discourse. It does. And we may not be aware of that in the moment, but it does. It comes with insomnia. I suffered from insomnia. You may suffer from being restless, fatigue. I suffered from being very tired, and I could sleep a lot of hours during the weekend. I was so tired because when you're in stress, your body works much more than when you're not in stress. A major life transition comes with guilt, comes with grief, comes with anger, worried, you feeling lonely. I was Googling and preparing for that. And I had a conversation. I had quite a few conversations this week about feeling lonely. That in that, so for example, me, I feel lonely in my relationship. So even though you can shine on the outside, but it's really like, how do you feel on the inside? And nobody knows about that, right? It's about alcohol addictions. I never had like really strong addictions, but like alcohol. Do you drink more alcohol than you should do? What about eating? Do you eat more than you should do? Like, do you suddenly have the craving of, I did more chocolate? I love chocolate, and chocolate is one of the few things I eat of sweet things. So in any life transition throws curveballs at that, and also emotional curveballs. The thing is that we don't, unless you work with someone, unless you are really ready to look inside what's really going on. You don't know that. You don't recognize that because you are the key player in your play, in your show. And that's why I can feel my body reacting right now. It's so important to become aware of that. I was so lucky to work with a coach before actually I realized that I was going to break up my family. So I was learning it about emotional discourse, emotion, how to navigate, and how to the emotional challenges when you are in a environment that doesn't serve you. And it's so important also to recognize that you have to recover. It's not about in coaching, we don't say you have to, but you get the opportunity to recover. And often we don't recover our emotional state. That's what we cover also the mental state, emotional wellness. We don't think about it. And think we don't think about it because we don't talk about it in public. But why it's so important to heal emotionally, it is because so you go to work in your sector job and you know what to do. It's all these logical things. You know the how. I had a lot of conversation yesterday about doing the how. When I was in corporate, I knew the how, but we forget to talk about the why and the what. The why and the what comes from your subconsciousness. It comes from what you really want in life. And if something is not in alignment, you don't feel it's right. It may feel like a burden. And that's why sometimes you should leave the how because you know the how. You know how to operate your executive job. You know how to do X, Y, and Z. But what you might forget is to heal your emotions. And that is one step I have come to understand and learn. And I help my clients embrace and I help my children. I only have one, my daughter, to embrace, and that is listening to your heart. And hi, Amanda. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that we are connecting. Um, Listening to your heart. How often do you listen to your heart? I realized that I didn't listen to my heart. Actually, what I did was I overrode or I suppressed what my heart was telling me. I also connect with many new clients, and it's always a starting point. We have a starting point where it's so difficult for them to connect with the feelings. It's so difficult because it's not being trained. We haven't trained connecting with our heart. But that is so important because your heart is your soul. I can feel my body now. Your heart is your soul. And your heart knows whether you should go left, right, or straight out, where you should go. And if you compromise on not listening to your heart, you will end up going uphill because it's not going to be fun. Maybe you haven't identified the values yet, but you have life values. Your inner soul, your spirit, your greatness in you knows what you accept, what you tolerate, what you not tolerate, what are your negotiables, and what you are not, where what your non-negotiables are. I worked that very thoroughly when I was getting my coach on to grow my advisory business, and I learned and I became aware and I grew my understanding and awareness about knowing what you want, where what your no negotiables are and what your non-negotiables are, and it creates a conflict when you don't know that, and you don't know what's causing you to be angry, what's causing you to be aggressive or feeling lonely. And it comes in, especially what I know to be true is that when we go through any major life transition, if we don't know what our negotiables are, what our non-negotiables are, and most importantly, listen to our heart, we 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 end often in a black hole of negative emotions that is going uphill. That's going uphill. So the one step I'll invite you to embrace today, Friday, if you're listening to this in real time, is to listen to your heart. And if you feel anywhere, if you feel challenged, just that's a broader perspective. It could be stressed or angry, sad, whatever. And if you, for example, get angry, if you don't react with anger, maybe you react by crying. Ask yourself, if my tears could talk, what would they tell me right now? If my tears could talk, what would they tell me right now? That, when I say trick, or that hidden source, or that magic source, is so powerful. And if you say, "Oh, I don't know what this tells me," relax, slow down, find a seat, find a place where you can sit quietly, just be you, and listening to your inner voice. And we suppress our inner voice. But what I know to be true is that, and I used it on myself, I used it on my daughter, and I train my clients in it. What if your tears could tell you why you are, what's heavy right now? What if? And often, what I know to be true is that your tears, that's your inner voice, would tell you what's not in alignment with your values, how you want to be treated, maybe what's right, what's wrong, or maybe it's not right and wrong, but like in your reality, how should people show up? What's a better way of doing that? What's another solution rather than just being angry or ignore people or feeling guilt? It's so powerful, and it's a very simple step to finding inner peace, and very quickly. You may say, Camilla, but I can't find it right now. But that's okay. Embrace where you are right now, and embrace that, just that you rehearse. That's the best thing I can ever do. And I can advise you to do, and invite you to do. I rehearsed, and I'm now mastering much better than I did 4 or 5 years ago, because I've rehearsed every single day. And I had a client conversation yesterday, and my client said she's had made quantum leaps over the last 2 years. I said, but I meditate. I got her to really encourage her to meditate every day, morning and evening, and looked at her routine. I said, but it's something that I have to practice becoming the new and better version of myself. It's not something that is just like I can do as on autopilot. No, because you're rewiring your brain. You're rewiring your brain. So celebrate your steps, celebrate your achievements, because it's the steps, each and every step on the journey that matters. It's not the end point, because I'm very sure, like my own journey, your endpoint expands. It becomes greater, different form, shape, different color, but it's going the right direction. And it just will become better, more beautiful, more abundant. And that is because each and every step on your journey will take will grow you in that on each step of your journey. You will grow your comfort zone, you will get into the unknown, and the unknown will become part of your comfort zone, and so you will keep expanding, 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 and so does your goal. It's so beautiful. So remember, as we're going into the Friday and the weekend, and I know when I was in a toxic relationship, that I sometimes may use the word, I don't I don't wanna use that word. I didn't really enjoy, sorry, I was, disconnected from, Instagram for just a short while. So I didn't look forward to the weekends, and I was so emotional challenged. So I really want to embrace all of you and say, remember listening to your heart. Remember listening to your heart. It's so important. And if you don't know, if you struggle, it's okay that you struggle, and just embrace that where you are right now. You're learning. I did also learn, and we learn every day. That is my mantra. I had it for more than 20 years. We learn every day, and just embrace that. Listen to your heart, and that is a great way into finding inner peace. So if this resonates with you and you found value in this, take a moment to drop me a comment as well as a screenshot, and share this episode on your favorite social platform or platforms to help your friends and your loved ones thrive through major life transitions. And remember, happiness is real. Wherever you are on your life journey, your divorce journey, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I would say, because I said this phrase a few times now, end of the tunnel doesn't have to be long, right? It can be really, really short when you have the right tools and the right strategies and you know what to do differently tomorrow. And remember, your next chapter of your life can truly be your best life yet. And I'm sure it will be. So, this wraps up today's episode. Remember to tune in daily for inspiration and practical advice to help you thrive wherever you are on your divorce journey. And remember, the inspiration that I share, pick up what resonates the most with you and the tools as well, because in that way you create a more thriving, more happier, and more abundant, because that's all about the abundance future on the other side of divorce. And just before I'm closing, actually, as you said it in the beginning, I have two announcements. The first announcement is that I still have some openings. If you want a laser coaching session with me, private session with me, it's 2 hours. So reach out. So, and the beauty of a laser coaching session is that we work on a challenge you have and you have had for a while, and we go deep dive and we find resolutions on what you have to do. Um, and and the next one is that I'm just about to launch my podcast, and we yesterday named it the Divorce Mindset Podcast. So tune in for, I think in about 3 weeks time, I'm launching my first podcast, the Divorce Mindset Podcast. If you want to join the podcast as a featured guest, or if you have a story, drop me a note. I'm so happy to have you, invite you on my show. So with this, enjoy this beautiful Friday, and we'll connect soon again. Bye for now.